sounds good. Level sound good. They sound good. Yo, shout out to my girl Kamara. That was her song Hotline. That's my girl. Make sure you go back and listen to our interview that we did a few months ago. She's got a new project coming soon. Excited about that. Look, LYNX Live. I'm your host, Dame LYNX. Remember, love yourself, no exceptions. And we're about to get into some reality. A lot going on in the TV streets too. So hopefully y'all got your drinks. I do have my little watermelon lemonade. Anyway. Ooh. All right, so earlier this week, the SAG, the writers, they've been on strike since like May. So they've come to some sort of agreement. Nothing official has been announced yet, but apparently they're in looks to get the increases they were asking for. Also some equity when it comes to streaming, because that's been a major thing. Because, streaming has prevented the shows from going into actual syndication. That's how a lot of writers were getting paid. Now there's none of that. People just go stream all they want. So look, hopefully this comes to an end soon. Also, our boy Anthony Anderson. So he and his wife of 22 years have divorced, and he is being ordered to pay her $20,000 a month. But if he makes over $2 million in a year, she gets a 20% extra on top of the $20,000 a month. So, hey, I mean, I don't think that's a lot though. Anyway, I don't think it's like too much. It's not excessive. Like a lot of these divorce settlements, they'll be like astronomical monthly amounts, monthly payments. So anyway, so did y'all know Karamo has a talk show? It's back for season 2. And if you've never watched it, it kind of reminds me of like Maury Povich and like Montel Williams from back in the day. So he has like different people on the show, and they're there to confess things or discuss things with like, a family member, somebody that they know. And it just turns into a lot of like drama. But I love Karamo. He's just so handsome. So, but I don't really watch. All right, enough. So Basketball Wives LA and Basketball Wives Orlando are coming back. They're premiering the first week in October. In LA, they've got like all the OGs. Shawnee's back. Jackie Christie. Evelyn is back again. I love how Evelyn can just come and go. You know what I'm saying? My girl Brooke is back. Y'all know I love Brooke and Jennifer. And then they got a couple of new girls. One of them is Brittany Renner. Apparently she's famous, but I don't really know why. She was the one that was with Shannon Sharp the other day on his podcast and said she slept with 35 men. So I don't know. I just don't know why she's famous, but she's on Basketball Wives. So of course I'm going to be watching Basketball Wives LA. They got me back, of course, by having all of my favorite girls on there. So I'll be watching it. Then they've also got a new franchise, Basketball Wives Orlando. I don't know any of the girls on that cast except for Megan James. She was on Basketball Wives before, but she was originally on Bad Girls Club, and she's just super annoying, but she can fight. So she's gonna be in Orlando with Basketball Wives Orlando, and I'm gonna be tuned into Orlando because I think it'll be good. It'll be cool to get to know like a new group of girls. You know what I'm saying? So we'll be tuned in. We got our OGs in LA. We got a group of new girls in Orlando. We'll see what it gives. We know I'll be watching. All right. So remember I told you about K Michelle. She dropped her R&B album, her last R&B album before she goes country. And so she's been doing a press run, stopping by, doing a lot of interviews, stuff like that. And she stopped by my favorite podcast, R&B Money, with Tank and Jay Valentine. Those are really two good looking men. Like, I don't even mean that in like a excuse me. I don't even mean that in like a sexual way. They are just two very gorgeous men, especially that Jay Valentine. Anyway, K. Michelle stopped by, and this was like my favorite interview she did all week. They had K. Michelle on that Jack Daniels, and she got to talking. But it wasn't like in a messy way. Like she really told, because they got into like her career and her come up and how she got started, and she just told the truth. She told the truth. She talked about her relationship with Myth Hits. He ended up marrying Toya, Lil Wayne's ex-wife, because she doesn't like to be referred to as a baby mama. But for the longest, that was the guy that K. Michelle said on Love and Hip Hop abused her, and everybody was denying it. And even when she mentioned him on this interview, she said she thanks him so much because he helped get her career started. And she had to be honest about the abuse and how it got there. And then also she had a relationship with R. Kelly. Now that's with the R. Kelly relationship. She's never said that it was a sexual relationship. She always speaks about it as if it was a friendship. But she did live with him. And she said she saw some weird things. She talked about a couple of those things on the interview too. Like apparently every morning at 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. Step in the Name of Love plays all over the house. That was interesting. But anyway, she also talked about, she went through all of her albums and talked about those. She talked about Nicki Minaj stealing the song off her album or taking the song off her album. But what I love the most about it is she is about to move into this country space permanently. She said this is her last R&B album. And when she talks about making country music, it's like she gets so excited about it. She loves it, And so I think that that's what I'm most excited about with this, with K. Michelle, because she really wants to do this. She's been talking about doing a country record for the longest. You know what I mean? So I'm excited. I'm excited to hear country music from her. I also like how she said, she said something really. She made a really good point on the podcast. She talked about how, yes, there is racism in country music, but one thing about country music is they really gatekeep their culture and their traditions to keep the sound the way that it's supposed to be. She said one thing about black culture is that we just let anybody come in here and just do what they want to do with it. And you can't go over into the country space and just start making country music how you want to be country and be accepted, so I like that. She made a valid point. We do allow people to just come and do whatever they want with black music. But anyway, really great interview, K. Michelle. Who else? Scrappy. So Lil Scrappy from Love and Hip Hop, he stopped by Carlos King's Reality with the King podcast. And he was drunk and high too, and he was spilling everything. It was a really great interview. Carlos, you're good. Shout out to Carlos King. He's really good because Scrappy really opened up. He talked about growing up in the house with Mama D. Mama D was a pimp. She used to rent their rooms out. He talked about how he started rapping, how he got into it. Being discovered by Lil Jon, how that happened. And he also said something interesting because Carlos asked him, does he feel respected in the music industry? And he said the only reason he doesn't feel that way is because back when he was coming up, when Scrappy was new, so this was like early 2000s, because I was in college. So like 2004-ish. When Scrappy was coming up. Anyway, back then, when he was coming up, you couldn't just be no brand new artist getting an award. Like you had to work for any award you got. Artists these days, you can have a single that's buzzing and you can get like a best new artist nomination or best new artist or something. They're giving you awards, but that's because now the awards are bought by the labels. Back then, you really had to work for it. Really good point made by Scrappy. He also talked about how he stumbled up and ended up in Love and Hip Hop. He talked about Diamond. He talked about Erica. He talked about Bambi. Really good interview. A really good interview for Scrappy. So speaking of Scrappy, Love and Hip Hop finale. So they wrapped up season 10 of Love and Hip Hop this week. And you know, they've been on fire the last 3 weeks. I think this is the most press Love and Hip Hop has gotten in a long time around the comments Erica Mena made towards Spice with the colorism, with the calling her a monkey, you know, and they've had this whole discussion now around racism and colorism. And the one thing I'm not agreeing with Love and Hip Hop is they are really trying to villainize Erica Mena as like this huge racist, when they know, or they knew back when it happened, that the statement wasn't coming from a racist place. And I think that at any point between that scene being filmed and it airing, did anybody talk to Erica off camera about this comment? Like they showed this scene that they didn't air where Yandy apparently approached her on camera. And I just feel like you approached her on camera a week after it happened. She's still fired up. She's still upset. Y'all are filming. Y'all are on camera. Like I kind of feel like if everybody had such a problem with it, who called her off air and said, "Hey girl, you know what you said?" I don't know. I'm just saying. But I don't agree with that. And we just letting Spice just get away. She's just being all aggressive. You know what I'm saying? She actually said she was so pissed at Carly she wanted to bust her head when the camera stopped rolling, and then she actually attempted to do it. So it's like when it comes to Love and Hip Hop, where do we draw the line? Now Love and Hip Hop decided to have a roundtable colorism discussion because of this whole situation, and they had it led by what's her name? Dr. Sarah Webb. She's the founder of Colorism Healing, and she led a conversation amongst members of the cast about colorism and the use of the word monkey. She was at the table with Scrappy, Yandy, Young Jock, Sierra, and Amy, and I feel like it was a really great discussion. Now, with Erica, they really drove the point home as far as why she shouldn't be using that word. And then also, Erica, why did you have to do like the monkey noises and stuff like that? Like, it just, the more they replayed it, I was like, oh my gosh, she really was egregious with that. But it allowed, the person that was leading the conversation, Dr. Webb, allowed them to, Spice was there too, but no Erica, which was weird, because we'll get into what I would have also liked to see. But Dr. Webb was able to guide the discussion so that a lot of the key points were hit. Like why we can't use that word. Why someone outside of our race shouldn't be using this word. Why do we allow people to come be invited into our spaces and our culture and just do whatever they want to do with it, that they get so comfortable that they feel like they can say things like that? Why do we start from within with colorism and other discussions that hinder us from within, that separate us, that way, and allow people to come in and just do and say whatever? So it was a really great discussion. They did a good job. And when I talk about being socially responsible, Love and Hip Hop made the right decision with having that round table, because it really, really allowed that age group, or all of us, to tune in if we want to and see what they're talking about. It was a very responsible conversation. So shout out to Love and Hip Hop for that. I kind of feel like that's what Potomac should have done last season when they were having all their like colorism issues and, all that stuff was going back and forth with them. As opposed to having them like mediate the discussion themselves, they should have done something like this. But either way, Potomac's coming back soon. We'll talk about that next week. Anyway, that's going to be it for reality. Let's get into some more music and we're going to be right back, because we got to keep it PC.